Greetings, I am Pillar Nexus, the Ancient Gladiator. Today with more Pillar Loves tabletop games. Today I bring you Adrenaline. Game of running around an arena, picking up weapons and items, and shooting your opponents and getting points to win the game. To set up the game, you're going to want to take the map tiles and decide which side for each tile you want to use. Obviously, with more players, you want more rooms to work with. And once everything's all lined up, you'll set up the kill shot track with these red skulls. For a learning game, you only want to set up 5. But for the full experience, you want to have 8. Then you'll set up the various tiles with ammo cubes and power-up cards randomly across the map. You'll shuffle the power-ups. And each player in the game will start with 2 of these on their first turn to spawn onto the game board. As you can see, they're colored red, yellow, or blue. And then they discard a card to spawn where they want to. And you'll shuffle the weapons. And deal them to the weapon pickup locations, which are also the spawning spaces. Put the remainder here. For player setup, each player will choose their pawn. They'll get their health board and their action tile. And they'll get their set of wound tokens so that when they inflict damage or marks to their opponents, they'll put them on that player's board. Each player will also have a set of 3 of each color of ammo cube. They'll start with 1 of each color, and then the rest will be off to the side until they pick up those cubes. And now for actual player turns. First turn of the game, you'll have your 2 power-ups. You'll discard 1 to spawn on that space. And then you have your turn. You can do 2 actions. There's moving 3 spaces. So 1, 2, 3. There's moving a space and grabbing something. Here. So let's say I want to stay here and grab it. I would add 2 yellow and 1 blue cube to my ammo box. You're limited to a maximum of 3 per color. And then this tile goes out. This does not get refilled to the end. Instead, or there's grabbing a weapon. To grab a weapon, you pay everything except the top cube out of your ammo box, and then it goes into your hand loaded. And then the empty weapon spot is left empty until the end of the turn. Unless you have more than 3 weapons, in which case you're going to have to discard 1 to that space. And finally, there's attacking. Let's say everybody is out and about doing the thing. Alright. So on his turn, he chooses to use this weapon. Line of sight in this game is fairly simple. You can see everyone in the room that you're in. You can see everyone in the rooms connected to the door where you're, of the space that you're at. So he can see this room, he can see this room. He cannot see the attacker, which is important for things like the tag back grenade. However, if he was here, then he can be in a good place to attack back. But in general, you'll follow the instructions on the card. The little drop represents a point of damage, which just goes to the leftmost space of their health bar. As they take damage, certain things get better. Now I can move 2 spaces and grab something. They can move up to 1 space and attack. When their bar is filled up to this point, they're killed. If it's filled up to this point, they are overkilled. Anyway, more weapon stuff. There'll be little target symbols. Those are marks. They don't go directly into damage. They go up here. The next time this character deals damage to this one, all those marks become damage as well. The thing about marks is that they'll stay on the character even after they're killed, if you put new marks on there in the process. There will be other effects as well, like the Heat Seeker can only attack against targets you can't see. The little blast icon affects everyone in the room equally. It shows that all targets on 1 space, then it's all targets on 1 space. If there's an X on the space that you occupy, it means you can't aim the weapon where you're standing. Like, you couldn't do it right here. So, actually scoring the kill shots at the end of the turn. So, we look at who's contributed to the damage bar the most. So, let's put out some examples here. So, say our gray dude dealt the first point of damage, along with 3 more points after that. But the blue character was the one to finish them off. So, blue's done more damage. They're going to get 8 points. Gray did the second most, and they did the first point of damage. They're going to get 7 points. However, it's blue that scored the kill shot, so it goes up to the kill shot track. If blue overkilled, then both go to the kill shot track. And the yellow character is going to do a mark to the blue character. But being killed means the skull covers up their highest point value, and now they're worth less points. It feels like the game is incentivizing going after the people who've been kind of let off the hook, you know. Go after the person that hasn't been killed if you want points. Try to inflict damage to people as soon as possible to get that bonus. At the end of the game, when this is cleared off, there will be one last turn for each player. If they're going before the first player, they'll get 2 actions. If they're going after, they'll get 1. Also, at the end of your turn, you'll get a chance to reload your weapons. You can use your ammo cubes, or power-ups in order to reload your weapons. They'll go back into your hand and you can fire them again. And then all the destroyed players get to respawn by drawing a card, adding it to their current collection of power-up cards, and then discarding one to spawn back on the board. They are now an available target once again. Hopefully they're taking the next turn. They're not having to wait too long. But once everyone's taken their final turns, we look up at the kill shot track to see who's got the most tokens there. Most gets 8, second most 6. Tiebreakers for killing characters and the kill shot track is whoever got there first. So if yellow and blue both did an equal amount of damage to this character, let's say yellow did the first 6, and then blue overkilled with the next 6, yellow's going to get the point bonus, or the higher points. And then if there's ever a tie for points at the end, it will go off of, I believe, the kill shot track. Whoever got the higher score on the kill shot track. If it's the players who didn't get kill shots being tied, then that's kind of silly. They remain tied, but it's kind of rare that something like that would actually happen anyway. Other things, if you can kill 2 of your opponents in the same round, you get a 1-point bonus, which is a nice little bonus for being ruthless as possible. But you have to be really prepared for that. Having 2 weapons that can kill your opponents, or having 1 weapon that can just kill multiples, is how you want to go about it. Let's see here. Have I missed anything else? When you got the end of the turn, see, you're reloading, respawning. That's right, all the empty stuff gets filled back up again. Power-up cards, limited to 3. Ammo cubes, limited to 3. Weapons, limited to 3. Marks on your opponents are limited to 3 per opponent. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just do your best with strategy, have the right weapons, be in the right spots to best deal with your opponents. Keep your weapons loaded as often as possible, and just be ready for anything. And now for the other modes of Adrenaline. We have Domination mode. To get a point on a domination track, you need to either damage it with a weapon. You're limited to doing it once per turn. So let's say we've got the plasma gun, and we're from standing over here and doing it. So plasma gun, the domination point, that'll go to the red track. It only gets 1 point no matter how much damage you do. In addition to that, you can also move into the spawn point And as long as you're the only person there, you'll add a point to that track. But you will also take a point of damage yourself. And then when 2 of these tracks are at this point or beyond it, each track will be scored as follows. Just like the kill shots track. Or just the usual 8 kill shots will end it as well. Alternatively, there's turret mode, which takes ammo tiles off the board. And whenever you enter a space, whenever you would be in an ammo location space, instead of, you can either grab a tile from the board, or you can put one of your damage markers on it. And now, whenever any other player enters that point, they take a point of damage. Yeah, it's possible to be killed on your own turn in either domination or turret mode, which is kind of weird. Let's see. However, damage from turrets does not set off the marks that would happen. And then players get points for controlling turrets. So the player with the most is going to get an 8-point bonus, second most 6, so on. And finally, there's adding the bot. So, after looking at power-ups, but before spawning, the starting player chooses any of the 3 spawn points and places the bot there. The bot will use one of the unused figures. And then, after the player who controls it takes their turn, they have to take a bot action. Although, actually, the player could take the bot action before theirs or in between their 2 actions. So the bot moves a space and then chooses someone they can see and hits them per point of damage. They're also going to be using one of the extra boards. So if they're at the points, if they've taken enough damage that they can move and attack, they're also going to do a mark as well. Power-ups cannot be used by the bot, but can be affected by power-ups that affect players normally. Yeah, the bots will still take, will still get points as well. And they can also potentially be used in the other modes, like domination or turret mode, which will make things real interesting. And then there's, I'm waiting for it to come in the mail, the expansion to Adrenaline Team Play DLC. It'll add a 6th figure, because at this point in time, base game, there's only 5. So first, the expansion adds a 6th character. Secondly, each character now has character abilities and 2 signature weapons. You'll start the game with one of them, and the other will be in the box. But I believe it's either your choice or random. Abilities have various effects like mind control, or charging up your weapon power, or being able to turn marks into damage or damage into marks. Venom, utilizing item cards for special power, or the 6th character's ability is to mess with ammo tokens. Thirdly, there's the end of the board edition. So you can reduce your maximum health to open up these actions early. And in addition, getting a kill shot, I think, lets you restore one. Or it might do something else. It's been a while. And then there's actually divided up into teams to play the game 2-player, 2 to 6, or 6-player. And then one side will move all their people and attack and do their damage. And the damage goes to like a card, and instead of damage coming from the player doing the attack, it's coming from the target being hit by the attack. And it'll go to like a card, and then as long as if there's at least 6 damage on it, there'll be a check to see how many different players did damage or got damaged, and then there'll be a bonus. And then it'll just, I'll just come down to that. That one will also have like a bonus for getting kill shots on all 3 of your opponents and your opposing characters in the same round. And I'm pretty sure that's it. Why the hell do I love this game? Because it's fairly quick, fairly simple in terms of understanding things. Let me tell you about the other combat arena kind of games I've had before. I've had the older edition of the Doom board game with the expansion that gave it the deathmatch option, and that was kind of interesting, but it was also kind of hard. That Doom board game was just that was the precursor to Descent, which was interesting. The newer Doom board game should have had an expansion to make use of all those frag tokens to do deathmatch stuff. I thought I had an idea for it, but it never got the expansion. And then there's Frag. Both Doom and Frag are like little grid, like D&D type grid games with all the line of sight issues that comes with. It also has a lot of dice rolling and tracking ammo and doing a lot of math that it doesn't seem as fun to me. So I'm glad someone told me about this game, because this simplicity of just 1, 2. I can see in here. I can see in here. They can only see me back if they're up here or up here. This is an interesting game with its systems of, having weapons with multiple modes of use. You spend ammo or additional things to apply to them. It is a big recommendation from me, Pillar Nexus. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.